Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to match number 2 between TSG and Team Solution, the last Kiwi team left in the pool. Team Solution took out their first match, unfortunately not in the traditional way. TSG had a DC, they could not come back. They've now got to stand in, and they'll be fired up, really keen to make it 1-for-1 and go to game 3. And of course, if any team can do it from this situation, it is Team TSG. Winners of last month's, or the month before, actually September's AWC Cup. They have been around, they have been in the top slots before. Team Solution also have been in similar situations, and I do believe this is not the first time these teams have come head to head. So sure, it should be interesting to see if TSG, the standard for TSG, could make the difference. Of course, until that DC in the first round, TSG playing very strong and did manage to lead most of the way. Just losing it just on the cusp of that DC, and then when it didn't come back, steamrolled out of control. 4v5 is not a situation that anyone wants to be in. In any case, that was the last match. Let's talk about the match ahead of us, right in front of us on the screen right now. It's for the bands. Bat Rider and Outer Titan come straight out of Team Solution on their side, whereas TSG on the Radiant side bound out Darkseer and Lich, as you can see on your screen, and go straight into the Naga Siren Timbersaw. Those two heroes, of course, combo very well with Net Under, Whirling Death or Chakra Magic. Spinning blades. So good setup there with the Naga Siren. Of course, it opens the way for the might of the team fight. And that's something that also Timbersaw can do well in, thanks to his ult and his Timber Chain. Team Solution, though, they've gone with the two flying brothers, Visage and Outworld Devour. Lots of magical damage as well as pushing power and potential coming out of Visage. Lots of right click and some team disable as well as team ult coming out. Well, Devour, so both of these teams picking strong straight out of the gate, looking to take the win aggressively. I think will be Team Solution. I feel as though they cannot sit around and wait. Just with the Naga Siren there, the potential to get caught out grows. And as we go into the second round of bans, both Razor and Kunkka get banned out because they have seen the wombo combo of a lifetime. Razor being involved, and of course Kunkka can do tremendous amounts of team damage too, so the setups there for Naga Siren very strong. So those are wise bans out, bans to be taking out. TSG ban out the split push there. Weaver can split push a little bit, but especially Nature's Prophet. And they pick up the Rubik, and I like this because now Rubik has the added option of Astral Imprisonment, or slows, I should say, not familiars, but slow. I'm sure you can see familiars. You can't see familiars. I'm sure you can. But of course, the Insanity's Eclipse, that's the pick for. Also, it stops them being counterpicked, so it's not necessarily a pickup for their own team. It's a pick that they're denying from Team Solution. At the same time, Team Solution, they're not afraid. They're just going to keep picking what they're going to pick. Then they're going to ignore the fact that there's a Rubik there. They go into the Clockwork for that extra right click / AoE / team fight. And their lineup is looking pretty old school meta. Oh, it's not even old school. Last week meta, but it's still looking pretty strong. 2 last spots now, though. These will be the most critical pickups for the match. These heroes will obviously determine what we're expected to see in terms of lanes. Because at this stage, it may be a tri-lane with Naga Siren, Rubik, and somebody else with Timbersaw tri-lane, solo lane, or it could be Timbersaw mid with somebody else in the long lane. Or may not even be a support Naga. Unlikely as that is, those options are still available. Team Solution, on the other hand, you've got to say it's most likely going to be Outward Devour in the mid lane, and ban out of Kunkka also helps to secure that, given that they've got rid of the two, and Razor is good, given they've got rid of the two counters to him in the mid lane. But that's not including the Troll Warlord. Troll Warlord does do okay against Outward Devour if it is going to be a mid-troll. He can harass and throw a lot of damage down. suddenly come out with his whirling blades. His abilities don't have huge amounts of mana requirement. And of course no requirement on toggling, so he can just toggle forward between melee as well as range, go for the passive kind of build, just to try and force out this Outward Devour in the mid lane, because that's what I'm expecting the matchup to be. I apologize for that. But yeah, as I was saying before, a bit of a free win for Team Solution, a bit of a hospital pass for TSG. So Solution, they'll be looking to play probably, I want to say aggressively, but safe picking. No over-the-top strategies. Just look for opportunities, farm, find the team fight, win it. I feel as though TSG, though, they're on the back foot, so they could have a little bit of fun if they feel that they're not going to win this. Given that they have a non-standard stand-up, they are missing one from their roster. But they do have the strength of their Naga Siren. That ability sets up so many ults, so many combos. And even if you weren't going for the big wombo combo type scenario, you've got the natural synergy already with Timbersaw for that mid to late game. So don't really need much more synergy in terms of wombo combo for that. You can set it up. Rubik can have the stolen ults as they go in, Troll Warlord ults, and then the song comes off and they just mop it up. At the same time, Team Solution, though, that is a scary lineup. Visage, Outward Devour, Gyrocraft, the next Assassin. Lots of gank potential across the board, as well as Team Fight and Utility for Lockdown and Stun as well. So every single one of those heroes has a form of either slow or lockdown. TSG, they have the same in the form of Rubik and Timbersaw and Naga Siren. Troll Warlord doesn't have his own. Oh, no, he's a slow with the axes, so it's kind of even odd. But you have to say that Team Solution, although the next Assassin's patch change, Team Solution, they do have the more consistent, more reliable damage / stun / initiation. And, oh wow, it's going to be Shadow Fiend being picked up. We do sometimes see Shadow Fiend being picked up for the tri-lane, although that meta has obviously fallen off since the patch, but we could see that there, or we could see Shadow Fiend in the mid position to go up against the Outward Devour, and while some people are going to say that's not a good scenario, that's potentially where they're looking to play it. Last pick now for Team Solution. The Kiwi team, can they make it 2 for 2? Or will they go to Game 3? Reserve time. And Southern Cross Dota's Tide Rot Season 3, brought to you in partnership by TT Esports, brought to you by Thermatake, as well as Switch TV. Dota is hard. And if you're not familiar with Southern Cross Dota, go along to the website, either through in-game, clicking on the tournament website, or if you're watching the stream, it's below you in a form of a bunch of links. I am Omega Kai. You can follow me personally on either facebook.com/Omega Kai Dota or on Twitch under twitch.tv/Omega Kai. Your support is appreciated. As we go into Game 2 now, Queen of Pain. Feel the scream, feel the angst. As what is likely to not be Outward Devour mid, possibly Queen of Pain. How? Could be either of them, or maybe none of them. Those juicy heroes. What will the lanes be? You can kind of guess what they're going to be. As I've already said, Naga Siren and Rubik to the tri-lane with either Shadow Fiend or Troll Warlord. Timbersaw in the long lane, and the other left over here is going to be mid. So both teams, they do have what I would think to be a standard. That's going to be the standard in terms of the laning, but it could go either way. Prepare for battle. TSG first in the game. They are wasting no time and rotating into the top to block out what looks like an offensive tri-lane against the Dire jungle, and this is being met by little movement from the Dire team. Soul just kind of waiting for the rest of the team to get in game, pick up some items, and look to go to lane. Whether or not TSG look to play aggressively on this, because they have no idea. They can't see what I can see, or what we can see. So yeah, they are looking to aggressively block out the camps, look for potential kills. While the Dire Team Soul, they are looking to do the same in the bottom jungle. Block out then is an offensive tri-lane, so it's offensive tri-lanes versus offensive tri-lanes. And they believe it's a defensive block as they go in for man for Amano, and they have the early team 1 fight, so they could be this line up here. Look at it, it's got a Visage, it's got for the slow or for the nuke, it's got an Impale, probably potentially something to come out of Queen of Pain. If she wants, she can throw the damage, or she can blink away if it goes bad, or the dagger, and of course a Rocket Barrage. So they have the strong level 1, they don't necessarily need the OD, and they realize there's no one there as they block out the camps and place this nice ward here. I love this ward. I love this ward. This gives them vision. You know, if I click on the tower here in terms of range, oh, it doesn't show me, but it's about here somewhere. And so this ward here is going to give them vision all the way up to about here, to be possibly even beyond this tower. My buttons will tell me. There we go. Beyond that tower. Yeah, so they're going to know what's going on down here. They've only got this little band of vision to worry about in here where they can't see anything. But otherwise they can see when these heroes look to retreat behind the bush there, behind the tier 1 tower, or when they look to retreat back at a lane, or when they go into pick up pools here, they can look to do that. And of course, this is not a standard location for a ward, so a lot of people won't necessarily pick up on that or look to block it out. Already there's some sort of engagement here. Wow, Rubik beating the feet, waiting for some help. No one's coming. Successfully, Nyx Assassin with just right clicks has driven Rubik away into this Troll Warlord Rubik mid-duel combo with going up against Queen of Pain, and I haven't covered the lanes whatsoever. It is Naga Siren with Shadow Fiend in the top lane duo going up against the duo of the Flying Brothers. Orvor and Oliver, the Wright brothers. Of course, this combo works reasonably well together. You can spam a number of abilities and not have to worry about the magic requirement as soon as you get enough levels of that aura. Essence Aura, I think it is. Yeah, Essence Aura. So this is going to work out well. They're going to be able to apply the damage where they want, push the lane where they want, use those familiars to potentially farm a little bit. In the bottom lane, it is Timbersaw going up against a lone Gyrocopter. Oh, and again, Omega fails. That button does not work. Why does that button not work? I swear I hit that button 3 times already. Fantastic. Thanks, guys, for the second night in a row. Forget the overlay. And if it's not for the genuine help of the people in the channel, I would have no idea. I'm not going to live that down. Not going to live that down, am I? Anyway, Astral Imprisonment come down in the top lane onto Shadow Fiend. Down comes the stun, nicely placed. Given that it's no longer a force ability, they're going to dive it, and that's first blood going down to Visage. Haste Rune there in the mix for Team Soul. Prizes go a number of people, including somebody who is in the Twitch channel. Congratulations! So let's have a look at net worth. Let's have a look at what that equates to. Queen of Pain leading the way, followed by Gyrocopter and the Troll Warlord in 3rd position. Outward Devour and the brothers just behind that. And I'm kind of curious as to see how this Troll Warlord and this Rubik are going to go up against the Queen of Pain. This, of course, I don't feel is a good dual combo to be going up against Queen of Pain. I think they were expecting to go up against a OD, because Queen of Pain does have multi-target damage, or the potential of multi-damage. She also has that high level of escape. And these Whirling Axes, she's just going to stay ranged from those and just look to throw out the damage. I'm not sure what the pings are coming out, but it does look like they're expecting there to be a rune and a rotation on rune is or something, but that doesn't really make sense. It's only 4 minutes and 38 seconds, so there is no rune, but there's a ping in that location. Perhaps they're expecting some rotation, or they were waiting for the rune to spawn, or it was a misclick. Astral Imprisonment coming down again. Can there be another initiation? Whoa. Gyrocopter kills Rubik in the bottom lane, while these two, this tri-lane slash dual lane versus dual lane, look to get a kill. And Gyro's not finished yet. He picks up a double kill. And again, more prizes for the double kill. Game pause, 400 ping. Again, apologies particularly to SAWRY1, who was fairly upset by the fact there was no overlay removal until about the 4-minute mark of the game. You, my friend, get a personal hug because you seem ridiculously upset by something so small. But of course, my apologies, because I did it yesterday. And again, I have not learnt from my lesson. So let's have a look at the graphs while we wait for this match to go into, hopefully resume from Seoul. We're at 1500 gold plus an advantage for Team Seoul. And an XP advantage of about 1500. Go the Kiwis. Taking a minor advantage, or minor lead at the beginning of the match. But item-wise, let's look at the builds. Let's look at the conversion first for boots. No boots onto at least 2 of the heroes out of TSG. It is only 5 minutes into the game, but you expect most heroes to have their boots, but they've only got them onto the Shadow Fiend, only got them onto the solo heroes. Whereas Team Soul almost have full boot conversion, except for the Nyx, who's acting out a heavy support role, who's helped them initiate, get in there, and help them secure those kills. And there is a reconnect. Build-wise, just quickly while we wait and have a look, you can see here Rubik, he's only got 2 levels, pretty standard there. Gyrocopter, gone for maxing out Rocket Barrage, no levels of Flat Cannon, not expecting there to be any kind of group up teamfight just yet, has gone for the cooldown. Troll opted for maxing out Axes, no surprise there. Queen of Pain maxing out the Scream. Naga, gone from 1-1-2, 2 levels of Riptide. Not sure how I feel about that. Astral Imprisonment 2, Orb 1 for Alwa Devar. I feel as though with this combo in the tri-lane-ish that perhaps the Essence Aura should come up first. 1 level Astral Imprisonment, and possibly Orb is the second thing to level. So that would be like 2-1-2 when you're level 5. I feel that would probably be better. You're only going to be using the Astral Imprisonment just for CC. You're not going to be stealing huge amounts of intel, because those opportunities are going to be a little bit more sparse. But when the opportunities are there, you're going to want to crack out the Arcane Orb and provide Essence Aura to your teammates so they can also spam their abilities. But I don't necessarily think this is a bad build. He's got that longer duration as well as the higher amount of intelligence deal. So I guess same thing could be said when there's opportunities present itself, particularly on the Naga Siren. Look to lock down that Naga Siren, steal as much the base intel as possible, so that she just can't cast anything. Keep her out of the mix so that she can't naturally combo with the Timbersaw as you're expecting. No net into Whirling Death or Magic Chakram. Game being resumed without asking, but that's okay. Everybody was ready. Another TP in here into the bottom, having suffered the 0 for 3 kill streak by Team Soul. TSG not having a fun game. maybe psychologically not in the match just yet. Gyrocopter just proving to be too strong and picking up a double kill, giving out all those goodies to those currently watching in-game and some on the stream. And you can see here that they're killing the creeps, and Naga Siren is just picking up that XP and going yum yum yum. She is staying in range thanks to that new change with the extended XP neutral creeps, now giving out XP to everybody, and that's quite a large area. I think it's 360 or 480. So if you stay like sort of here, just behind these trees, you'll still get some of the XP. Nonetheless, there is a jostle for position in the top. Meanwhile, in the bottom, there could be initiation here onto Gyro. He sees it. No, he doesn't see it. He peeks his head around the corner, sees the Rubik. There's the pickup, but there's no follow through from Shadow Fiend. He's just too far away. Out comes the homing missile. TP coming from SF, and somebody else comes in. It is Naga Siren. Look out, Rubik. You're going to be in trouble. Down comes the homing missile. Easy pickings for what should have been an easily defended, an early indicated engagement. That Gyro just following that Rubik for a long time and even announcing his presence early. There was a pickup. Again, Shadowfiend kind of got body blocked a little bit, was wanting to get around. There's a TP in from Naga, but no reactions. Slow turtles, lizard-like reptilian actions in terms of skill and in terms of reflex, not skill. And that has led to a dead Rubik. And 0 for 4. More kills for the Gyrocopter.
The red mist spreads at Radiant's middle tower.
Troll, though, taking the opportunity to push down the mid tower, given that there's no one there defending it, and little laser lines being drawn on the map saying, hey, we should do something here. Either wrap around behind this troll, or try and secure these kills. Again, in the top, a bit of pulling, a bit of stacking going on. They do clean that out. This time, there is no one around to really soak up the XP, but this is something that Timbersaw could probably do quite well. Lots of trees around to grapple onto, so he could stick into range. And yeah, they are diving. Look out, here comes the damage. It will come out in the form of Gyro if he can catch anyone. But he was picked up, thrown under tower with the net. He's just going to go back straight into the same position. That one hero proving too much for these three. And even with 3 heroes, they can't really secure the kill, even under tower. So, well, it's not that they can't. They just haven't successfully been able to do it just yet. Shadowfiend now potentially going to get some farm on. Now that he's going into his treads early, or late, in comparison to... No, it's late. It's 9 minutes by the time he's going to complete that. And wow, there's lots of hate for Shadowfiend as the rocket yet again goes for him. And no flak cannon up yet, still on Gyro, but he does have the rocket barrage. And they have an ult on an outward devour, so they can look to put potentially, and a 4-star, so they could look to potentially push some team fights shortly. And this is only going to work in the favor of Team Soul. I do not feel that Team TSG can yet stand up to any early game aggression. I feel that if Team Soul do group up, look for that 5-man combat, 5-man Dota. The potential, whoa, what's going on here in the bottom lane? Completely missed. He's already using the healing potion. I do feel if Team Soul put the pressure on, look for those team faults, there's going to be few opportunities here for TSG to respond. And if they do, well, the Queen of Pain picks up a kill. Invisibility Rune being used, but just not enough. Meanwhile, in the bottom, for the first time, TSG get on the scoreboard as they drive away Visage and Nyx Assassin, having killed off Gyrocopter. I'm not sure if that was under smoke. I was not watching that because, as you can see, I was in the mid lane trying to figure out what was going on with Queen of Pain. But they needed that. They needed to get something on the boards. But it's 1 for 5, and the graph still goes south, although the speed at which it is declining is kind of petered off a little bit. At 3,000 gold advantage to the Kiwis. 2,500, 2,600, 2,700 XP advantage to the Kiwis. And by no means is that substantial early in the game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But this looks like it's going to be answered with some aggression coming out of Gyrocopter and the rest of the Dire team who have come down, including Nexus Assassin and Visage. They want this tasty, tasty carry. They want the Shadow Demon. The Dire know this as TP's come in, and there's also a transitioning here from Rubik, who went somewhere. Maybe he died. This is met again by more TPs. Queen of Pain comes in with the illusion rune. She's going to use those illusions to scout out. And as they block the lane, or try to block the lane, try to potentially get this tower, while Visage is in a bit of trouble. Cooldown comes through, out comes the screen, cooldown comes through, seals the deal, Nuke goes down onto Rubik. Chakra Magic comes out, and it could be a kill here for Timbersaw, as he does pick up the Nexus Assassin. Nuke down onto him, but Reactive Armor is going to save him. It's 1 for 1 so far. Queen of Pain better look out as she goes out of the way, and now Visage could be potentially in trouble. And that was sloppy engagement by both sides, but it doesn't matter. Wow, I was going to say it doesn't matter because Gyrocopter does pick up, but not enough. Charges left on Rocket Barrage does not all hit the Shadow Fiend, and of course he goes down. All meanwhile, the Troll does his job as he's supposed to, and he just hits that mid tower. And they pick up some additional extra gold, which is going to narrow the gap between these two teams. I like how Queen of Pain's here. I like how Queen of Pain's here to just right click and not look to I was going to say to look to potentially engage and do some damage, but it just looked like she wasn't sure, being on that high ground all by herself, that she could commit to that, given that there could be some missing. So that is the safe game. Another tasty rocket for that tasty carry. And because every time that rocket is cast, he has to leave lane. He can't afford just to sit in the middle of nowhere and take it to the face. Because if he does, the rocket barrage, the cooldown could come through, and they could be enough damage just to kill him. And across the map, just a little bit of farm going on, except in the top where there's 3 heroes looking for this tasty chicken-winged will devour me with my dinner references. And they are looking to put some damage down. I'm not really sure what the strategy is here in the bottom lane. They're just picking up farm, I guess, looking to complete their BKB. Naga Siren, she's got that smoke. She's had it for some time. They could have utilized that by now, but I'm not really sure what the plan is. They may be looking to TP. At the top lane, though, more pings going down. Familiars, they are scouting out the jungle ahead. No, the Radiant team, they are going to back off with Troll going back to the mid lane. Add some more push while these 4 heroes in the top lane scout out nothing. And comes the cooldown again. Booyah! Out comes the Rocket Barrage, but it's not enough because Shadow Fiend cleans it up. As Sanity's Calypse comes through thanks to the fort-stuffed in Outward Devourer and Imprisonment. Timbersaw gets away with the Timber Chain.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And that was reasonably close. Now 4-7. I felt a trade for trade in terms of carry. And more pick up, more damage going down. This is an ambush coming out of the Radiant team. One more right click. Troll Waller secures it. In comes the Timbersaw chain. And that does seal the deal. Again, 2 kill pickups for none. Well done by TSG, who now managed to equate the kills to be only 1 kill away as they push down another tier 1 tower. And the graphs, they start to come back towards the neutral territory. Vendetta next up, in comes Queen of Pain, down goes the Troll Warlord. No, Naga Siren saves! Clutch play there, 2 heroes just saved by the Naga Siren song. And smoke being used to help us expedite the retreat. That's unfortunate for Soul. It looked like they were going to get both that Nexus. Oh, I apologize. That's a miscast. Both that Troll and potentially that Rubik. But the Naga Siren came in through at the right moment. And more aggression, more pressure down on the bottom lane. As I feel that both teams, they're being aggressive standoff. Each of them know the danger of pushing. Each of them know what could go wrong. But Soul, they are going to take this tower. Hit and run, it seems to be the strategy of the day. Vendetta up, Phoenix Assassin, he's looking for, he's got the seek and destroy orders, gonna hunt out somebody. He pings in exactly the right location, but whether or not the rest of the team comes through, Vendetta runs out, he's on the high ground, he can see them, but there's no follow through, the team is just too far away. Asheron Prism coming down on the mid lane, on to Troll, down comes the Impale, Queen of Plains screams, but there's the Insanity's Eclipse, it cleans up Troll, he mounts onto that damage, and this is not over, to and fro, and another well placed Impale. Queen dives it though, she wants to try to get the kill, and this may be her demise. She does blink out, the rest of the Dire team come in, and that is 3 for none. Soul proving that they are the dominant team that time. And as the dust settles, they turn again their attention towards the middle tier 1 tower.
Much like cordwood before Axe's axe, Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower
Look out. Look out, Naga Siren, you're in a bit of trouble.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Ping's going down onto the bottom to try and drive off the attack from the TPing out Gyro. Smoke coming out of the Dire team. Team Solution looking to wrap around into the Radiant jungle because they know there was a response. They know that there were TPs. So they could look to do that. They could look to do Rush. They are positioning themselves. Look like they are going to try and... For Rush, no. What are they going to do? I don't think they have the team makeup to do Rush just yet. Yeah, they are looking for the kills in the bottom. They do know that there's reactions. They're a bit split. There's 2 pings coming out in 2 opposing directions, and there doesn't seem to be any movement as the smoke wears into the last 45%. 4 stuff coming in. There's the trap. Reactionary TP's coming in. Visage Familiars in place. The stun. Down comes the Naga Siren. A defensive Siren to avert what could have been the potential gank that turned the bottom engagement into another fallen tier 2 tower. And the illusions, plus the Fade Bolt, managed to eat up that wave, and the Dire and the Radiant Team Solution, they miscasts. The Dire Team Solution. Looks like they are going to go for the rush. And with the familiar, with Visage, with the familiars, with the medallion, they should be able to do a quick rush. And there is a response. The Radiant know that something's going on. They're looking, they're coming in, but it's a bit too late. A few more seconds earlier would have made the difference. But Team Solution now going to turn it back onto TSG. As they another retreat called. Another potential engagement. Safe game plays by both teams. I feel the momentum though is with Soul. They feel like they have more control. They feel as though they have the better teamwork going on. But they are ignoring the Troll Warlord. They are ignoring the easy free towers that the Radiant team are picking up. And look at this, the Troll, he's not relenting up. He is going to push towards the tier 2 while they look for the trade. There's going to be some kind of defense mounted here to try and save their own tier 2 tower.
Much like cordwood before Axe's axe, Dire's top tower is under attacks. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, and the defense has mounted. They have mounted a successful defense, buying themselves some time. So they could still glyph if they want to, but they're going to let it go down. It is a tower trade at this stage. No, they're forced to glyph out. Troll Warlord is forced to retreat.
Like you can't even imagine.
Look out! Not enough timing there on the stun. Just going to take too long there. He does TP away. And that's going to be a very long journey for that rocket. Pick up here from Rubik. Steals Impale. Wrap around from the rest of the Radiant team. And we may see something. Look, we've seen a lot of defensive sirens come out so far. I feel as though TSG they don't have any momentum at this stage. They've won in their engagements through skill, not luck. And as we say that, another engagement down. It's all over the place. Quinta playing is engaging up the top. Another defensive siren. As TSG, it looks like they have to retreat. They have just taken too much damage. BKB Insanity's Eclipse does nothing. Does nothing. Cooldown comes through. Queen of Pain Scream. Gyro falls, Timbersaw falls, as well as Nyx Assassin, but don't forget there is the Aegis. And this wide front for this team engagement is not over as they look to pursue, but there's no vision. No, there is vision. Astral Imprisonment, they put down the ward. There, I secure the kill of Gyro. Wow, what's going on? It's just all over the place. It's still going. It's not over. Timbersaw gonna pick up another kill. Double kill there. And it's hard to say who came out on top of the engagement. I do think that TSG, it's not over yet. It's still going. And now I'd have to say that was an even engagement. I did feel like TSG had lucked out, and TSG had lucking out. It did feel as though they hadn't lost that Shadow Fiend. But in the last seconds there, you saw that Shadow Fiend was picked off. Very wide front, very large space in which that engagement was undertaken in. It was in this area. Heroes were not clumped up. The song did manage to capture everyone. And a return to the safety of farming. Let's have a look at items. Full book conversion for only TSG. Soul have not completed build conversion on the Visage, who has gone for the early medallion. Now has a point booster. Mechanism as well as BKB. 4 stuff onto Outward Devourer. Mana Boots on Nyx Assassin. Trollwaller with BKB. As well as Shadow Fiend. And that's all really to report on. Those are the items that are going to tip any of these team engagements one way or the other. And there was a... Wow, Queen of Pain manages to get the jump kills off Naga Siren as she flies away now. And you can see TSG, they are huddled up, they are playing defensively, they are not looking to roam, they are not planning to gang. They are just looking to take kills within their own half of the map, which is being contested in terms of control. They've lost more towers just by one. No, it's equal a number of towers. I apologize. But they're not making any incursions over the river. They're happy to stay on their side of the map at present. They feel as though they don't have the power to take it to Soul's side of the half of the map. They're going to wait for that push to come in. They're going to give up that map control and play the siege mode a little bit. Just wait for those pushes and wait for the opportunities to present themselves, because they feel that Team Soul will make mistakes. And this strategy does work. You know, if you to a degree, you can't let the enemy team just free farm away, but at the same time, you can't take risks with big risks. You can't take gambles. You have to take the safe bets. And TSG, I feel if they smoke up, if they look to ward aggressively, they can easily take this back, because there is very little in it. 7,500 and both XP and gold in the favor of Soul. The Kiwi team, the last Kiwi team left in this challenge. I should say left in Tide's wrath. Wow, it doesn't even show us since post-patch the actual time. Well, it does. So these teams don't necessarily know. I forgot about that change in the patch. These teams don't necessarily know when the Aegis is going to be back up on Roshan. They're going to just kind of guess it a little bit. And net worth wise, let's have a look at the top of the chart. It is Outward Devourer, followed by Queen of Pain, and then Troll. As the Radiant team smoke up as if they had heard me, they've placed some wards already. They are defensive, and they are pinging strong down on the mid lane on the gyrocopter. You can see for yourselves the line being drawn up the mid lane, and they're breaking off. Oh, smoke breaks, so they know there's heroes abound. Axe reveals Nyx Assassin. In comes the Chakra, which he manages to stun under Carapace, but they pick him up. He's out of position. He's all alone. And in comes a Saturday's Eclipse, and it does enough damage to trigger a reaction. Naga defensively. OD is BKB'd up, though. Here comes the cooldown. Queen of Pain Scream, and that is a wombo combo! Hoo-yah! As only Timbersaw is left alive, and reactive armor ain't gonna save you there, buddy. 9 to 21. The Kiwis cleaning that up. And now they're gonna turn the tide. The Kiwis watching this are gonna feel that this is good news, but it's not over.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under
Excellent positioning from Queen of Pain.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Nicely timed. Waited for the cooldown.
Middle tower falls. Axe's middle finger rises.
That was not luck, but that was skill, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, see, like they're waiting for the Rosh again, and Rosh is up. They'll take this rush before attempting to lay siege to any of the remaining of the tier 2 towers.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And the Radiant team, they're huddling.
Sand down into little pieces.
The Aussies, they're not playing on form tonight. TSG, of course, the favourites, solely underdogs, as they smoke up into what could be another serious team fight. And the response out of the Radiant team, will they trigger fight or flight response? And SF is out of position in comparison to the rest of the team, but the pings are going down the bottom. They want the bulk of the rest of the team. OD is there. Out comes here. Out comes the opening damage from Nyx, and it's a huge amount of damage as Rubik goes down. Trollwater looking to try and tank it out and right-click it away. He does go down to both a combination of OD right-clicks, which aren't that strong, but the Queen of Pain clicks under BKB. And they pick up 3 heroes for none as they lay siege to the bottom lane. They are going to go the high ground. And they're going to attempt to take this tower. There is Glyph. They can drive this off. Nagasaren going to come online in 10 seconds, or 6 seconds. She will have ult. So another song, defensive song impeding is going to be here very shortly. She is up. She's moving immediately towards this bottom lane. You know, I feel the solution called to fall back here.
Axe observes carnage underway at Radiant's top tower.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, ignoring the gyrocopter, who's doing an excellent job at split pushing, while the bottom lane is occupied. Now has flat cannon up. The wave just being mounted away as he gets another easy free tower. The pressure's still on in the bottom lane. And the Radiant team forced to just hunker up, bunker up, and wait for the defense. And it's only a matter of time before yet another team fight comes out. Nagasaren is going to be critical here in holding the line. That very thin line. But Solution, they have the flexibility with the heroes with the Force Staff, with the Blink, to just sort of push out into position, flank them, catch them off guard. But I see the strategy here. Gyro split pushing while the rest of them just keep the bottom occupied, and this keeps the majority of the Radiant heroes in one place. And they have to answer one of these pushes at one stage. Aegis being reclaimed shortly, as you can see on your screen. So this is where you would expect the five-man team fight to come. While they still have the Aegis, and they are pinging on the high ground, this next wave of creeps will determine whether or not they go balls deep. They have buybacks. And they come through. Chakra's down, walls there, BKB's got up, Ascenity's clips, catches nobody in terms of damage. Nagasaren ult defensive yet again, but OD's there. Wow. Another Insanity's clips. How's he too? Oh, that's a stolen one from Rubik. Queen of Pain, call down. Clean up there by Trollwater with the right clicks. The rest of his team though taking the damage. And it's just Trollwater that's holding this basically by himself. And they do go down. Look at the buybacks come out of the Aussies. They know they have to mount. They have to mount a side. I don't have to say it. They have to hold this line. They have to hold it. Because Soul are just putting the pressure down. Another BKB comes through. Mega kill, but Jaro does go down. Visage is there. It's just him though. He needs to get out. There's the net. Illusions. Riptide as he tries to TP away, knowing that the mini stun from the net has already been used up. And well done, I have to say, well done to TSG. They saved their money, they brought back at the right moment, they managed to deflect this charge through the bottom lane. And another DC coming out of TSG. Take this opportunity to say hi to the hecklers in the stream. And I am being advised there is no further matches after this due to a forfeit by a team who's pulled out. It's the moment feeling very tense, apprehensive, if you will. Limited buyback capability now in TSG. Sol with a commanding lead. 20,000. 20k gold advantage. 25,000 XP advantage. And that is a Himalaya of a graph to try and get over. Not unconquerable, and I feel TSG, they are still in it with, still in it to win it. And they smoke up, looking again for more kills, potentially using Troll as bait. And this is what I was talking about. Smoke and gank is what you have to do when you are on the back foot and they know there's someone around because the smoke is broken. They dust them up, and this will be a dead next assassin. There comes the Ned. Out comes the Sanity's Eclipse. And it's a reversal of ganks as Sanity's Eclipse. The Naga Siren goes down. Too many BKB heroes, but the Troll, he's just right-clicking away. And that's a 5-man wipe. GG called by the Australians as they bend a knee. And the Kiwis take it. Convincingly and strong. I was Omega Kai standing in for the other Australian casters who could not commit to tonight's games, who had issues unfortunately. So I'm standing in, making up for them. Shout out to the sponsors, TT Esports by Thermatake, as well as Southern Cross Dota for hosting this event. If you like what you heard, if you like what you heard and you like what you saw, and you want to lend your support to me, you can follow me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/OmegaKai, or on Twitch. As said earlier, there will not be another game tonight. Sol went 2 for none. And unfortunately, there's a forfeit in the second match for tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can go and retire for the evening. I'll be back on Friday tomorrow to host some of those makeup matches, as yet again, there's some availability issues with some of the Australian casters. Thanks.